this based on, like, I guess, chat. And, you know, it's like, what do you talk about it or don't, man? You know, don't do this shit.
Let's see if Ethan would rely on other people to watch the videos for him, because I have a big problem with this next clip.
He made a video. I haven't watched the whole thing. It's long as... I think everybody noticed as they were watching through it, even Hassan, I think, commented on it, that this video is a little weird.
Yeah.
You had mentioned you had watched it.
Yeah, I saw the whole thing. It is biased towards Hassan.
Even Hassan was getting like frustrated watching it. He was
Yeah, I was getting frustrated watching it because like chat was not being normal about it.
confused, and he's like, "This is weird."
Yeah, Hassan didn't like the video at all, from what I recall. He thought it was weird, and
Didn't stop Ethan from still going full tilt. Hassan is an anti-Semite on me shortly thereafter, did it?
the more it went on, the more he kind of like disliked it.
I was so disappointed by the crew when I saw that. I don't know if it's just bad faith or if they also didn't really watch Hassan's reaction, but I will show you a clip of him talking about this video.
What is it? Oh, I gotta go. I gotta finish. I'll finish this tomorrow. I gotta do the podcast. Personal news-wise, I ended the broadcast. We watched a YouTube video that was really good, and I highly recommend you guys check it out. It's by Comrade Casey in the chat, also known as, I believe, North Star Radio. Is that what it is? Is that what his YouTube name is? I forget.
Since we were talking about Hassan's chat, let's talk about it more, because that's one of the main point of criticism Ethan has. He thinks his chat should challenge him more.
It makes me sad that people in his audience let him get away with this types of like hand waving. And once again, if you're a Hassan fan, challenge him to do better than this. This is
I've never once told Ethan's fan base to challenge him for any number of different like takes that he has, just for the record. And I don't suggest you do that at all, but you probably can't do it anyway, because I feel like he always shuts off the chat, and even saw that the comments were not favoring him in that first fuck Hassan video, and he immediately shut off the comments in its entirety. So much of this is just pure projection. Also, my chat challenges me all the time.
dishonest. And more than that, I'd like for him to just respond to one of the points I made, just directly.
The do better part of this statement is really important, because we recently had a great example of Ethan being challenged by his own chat to do better.
Truly disgusting, disappointed in you and the crew. Do better! The crew. If you had a dog, y'all wouldn't have thought twice, but it was a cat and you don't care. Shut up, you freak, weirdo, loser.
So following Ethan's logic, how does he react to his own audience when they try to hold him accountable? He often uses two techniques. Here's the first one. Also, here's a clip I found interesting from just a few days before they turned off comments on all their recent videos. It's just too good.
He also started turning off replies.
I have no idea what any of this other shit is. I don't know what the fuck any of this stuff is, like the cat comments or whatever. But I have seen, I mean, I know that he's turned off his comments. Bro, how many times a day do you DoorDash? I do not DoorDash. But I get food delivered once a day. It's all videos he heavily criticized you in. Name one time a chatter challenged you, liar. Good one. By the way, the Reddit post that appears on the video about North Star Radio was made by an account that posts on the D subreddit. Yeah, of course. Dude, that's where he's getting his stuff from. And it's like kind of a funny situation to be in, because like his community knows what Destiny's all about. Destiny has called Ethan the R word like numerous times when we had leftovers together, when we first started it. Destiny and his community despised Ethan. They harassed him nonstop. Destiny himself has also aligned himself with the likes of Sam Hyde, who is a pedophile Nazi. Why did Destiny do such a thing? Sam Hyde hates both me and Ethan. Why did Destiny do such a thing? Oh, that's right, because Sam Hyde was saying he wanted to kill me. That's what he did. He literally welcomed him with open arms. A straight up Nazi and a pedophile. So it's kind of odd for him to pull up the enemy of my enemy is my friend moment here, where I'm all of a sudden the enemy.
Ooh, that's cringy.
Yeah.
Logan did?
Logan turned off replies.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know you lost.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah.
That's rough.
But apparently another problem Ethan has with Hassan is how he sometimes loses it and yells at his chat.
I despise all of you, dude.
And you know, is it really cute the way that he like says crazy shit to his chat? I don't think it's really that cute. I don't know why.
Wait, was that a video of me yelling at my chat for doing like weird drama baity shit with Ethan? That was his takeaway? That was me literally yelling at my chat for saying like, you guys go above and beyond. No, it's probably not. I don't think it's from that. There's no way. There's no way. Lamau, bro, you are insanely off-putting. You're great at curating clips though. Thanks, man. I like that you put a nice little compliment in there. Yeah, you're right. I'm a very off-putting person. I'm sure your favorite internet debate guy is definitely not seen as off-putting. Also, you are usually right. Oh, okay. Blaze.
Why people let him get away with that.
Now let's see how Ethan responded to the pushback from his chat the day after he made jokes about Aaron Bushnell, who set himself on fire in front of the Israeli embassy. And I want to remind you, the people in the live chat are all paying members.
Well, unless I'm misunderstanding, tell me why. I'd love to know why.
What I saw.
Because you make fun of him burning. Okay, dummy! I joke about all this shit every fucking day. And now all of a sudden you gotta get all bitched out? Like, give me a break, dude. You know, suck my dick. Give me a fucking break. Look in the mirror, loser. You're the problem. You are the problem. You are. Fuck you. Fuck you people. So why are you expressing such dumb fucking thoughts in my chat? Go somewhere else. Like, seriously, if you're that sensitive. So
I'm sure you've already answered this, and it's probably a dumb question, but how do you respond to haters that say you interacted with them knowing he lives in the IDF, asking out of total ignorance and genuineness, all calm and dumbass? Great question. I've talked about this with respect to American veterans as well as Israeli veterans. There are plenty of former IDF veterans that, for example, created the organization called Breaking the Silence, which is an anti-occupation organization in Israel. I do not fault people for their past actions as long as they are they're doing everything they can to work against it. And I did not know what Tequila's perspective on the Israeli occupying force was at all at the time. We had never talked about it. And even in our first conversation, I believe she was in the background. And at that point, it wasn't like she didn't say too much in that Leftovers episode. So for me in particular, I never fault people for things that they've done in the past. I'm a firm and committed believer in rehabilitation. And I think that, yes, even if you were a part of the American military, even if you were part of the Israeli military, it does not matter. After all, if you recall, one of the first people that I actually interviewed, Dr. Ofer Kassev, was someone who served in the Israeli military originally. He also got arrested for becoming a conscientious objector later down the line. But Dr. Ofer Kassev is a member of the Knesset in Israel. That was like one of the first people that I interviewed. Like, Israel has mandatory conscription. I'm Turkish. Turkey also has it. So I'm much more understanding of like people that served, as long as they look at that and they recognize that it was not good and actively become allies and even show their own personal experiences as a way to make a further argument against Israel's genocidal actions or Israel's apartheid state. So it was never even a question for me. Also, because I'm a normal person, okay? The fuck do you mean? There are millions of people that have served in the U.S. military. What the fuck would I be like, oh, you're a veteran? You're a baby killer. Like, I would never do that until someone tells me that they have no issue with that, or that they have no issue with that at all. Like, they're not conflicted with their service whatsoever. And in which case, like, yeah, I'm still not going to be like a weirdo about it, but I probably will look at you a little differently. Well, I said the same thing in your chat once, and someone called me insane and asked if I feel the same about Nazis immediately. Yeah, I mean, it's just, people get passionate about this, people get heated about this shit. But yeah, if there was a former Nazi soldier who then actively worked against the Nazi government, then yeah, you would want that person to do that. That's the entire point, okay? Like, that's literally, what do you mean? And I'm sure there were people like that. I'm confused. Are you implying that anyone in the U.S. military is doing something wrong? Are you assuming that everyone in the military is just doing combat roles? No, I'm not. First of all, I did not say that. I know that like a massive amount of the American military is not actively in combat, but that doesn't change the reality that they're still facilitating a lot of the horrible shit that the American military does. Having said that, I didn't even tell you that I fault people for going and serving in the military. So I don't know why you got that shit. I'm even saying that even those who were active duty combat, like who saw direct war, I do not fault for their experiences. Some of my favorite people on the planet, like some people I grew up with, literally have. I mean, were Marine Corps veterans, like straightforward, active duty combat veterans. There's plenty of them in this community who I love. There's plenty of people who are active duty service members right now. The way you worded it is recognize what they did is wrong, made it seem like everyone did something wrong. I'm just mean broadly, brother. I don't know why you're getting lost in the weeds. It seems like you're a little bit conflicted about maybe your personal experience, so that's why you're lashing out a little bit right now, you know? I don't know if you know this, but you're surrounded by other veterans and even active duty service members right now in the chat that are watching. So sorry, I'm just misunderstanding. I know. All right, let's continue.
Give me a break. Who's the problem? Scumbag. Scumbag. So you're a fake fucking fan. Fuck you. Get lost. I'm sick of it.
But maybe it's just the chat that is overly sensitive, right? Ethan is known to make edgy jokes and to make fun of all different groups of people. We call it goblin mode, and that's why people love him.
Go somewhere else. Like, seriously, if you're that sensitive that you need to go the fuck away and go to a community that is going to just tell you everything you want to hear all the time and never make you feel uncomfy. There's plenty of them out there. Go. It's really annoying.
So wait, this is about him, like, he made fun of Aaron Bushnell. Is that what happened? Like is that what it was? I mean, that's pretty fucked up. Like,
that like people just, they stand by like just waiting for any reason to call me. And by the way, why? Because I made one stupid, insensitive joke. If you can't deal with it, then you know you're a hypocrite, because I make these jokes about all different topics.
Why didn't nobody tell him to stop? No, his chat was telling him to stop. I think it was in, they're saying that the chat was in members only mode. What is this?
My first reaction is this. It was absolutely insane how he like stood the whole time. That was crazy. I didn't know how that's humanly possible. Again, not to put this uncouth, but he's a champ at burning a lot. I mean, that sounds bad, but he did it really good. Does that bad sound bad? We have to make levity of things. Does that sound bad that he was really good? I mean, but I mean that as a compliment. What the fuck are you guys angry about, you weirdos? What did I do? Oh my God, stop.
Ethan Clown's cracking jokes about Aaron Bushnell immediately after his death. He was a veteran too, and then getting sensitive and sharing drama alert tweets, whipping up hating his program for saying U.S. soldiers get PTSD.
About all different sensitive things, about all different groups of people, every show. And then when it lightly brushes on your shoulder, you freak the fuck out, and you bitch, and you cry, and you go, and you try to find any reason to, you know what I mean, to get angry.
After hearing all that, I wonder how Ethan would react if he was the subject of a joke. Like he said, he makes jokes about all different groups of people. He's a free speech absolutist after all.
It's a panel hosted by Frogan and four of her friends, in which they have a tier list where they rate people where good is Arab and bottom is loves Sabra. Sabra is a very popular hummus brand. I know in Israel, it's pretty much in everybody's refrigerator, and it's kosher. They're an American company, but they've been the subject of the pro-Palestine boycott.
I saw some of this.
I mean, it's kind of just Arab, good, Jew, bad.
Ethan Klein.
I told you guys to clap.
This is a good reaction.
That was a good one.
We're very proud of you, Denims, for bringing anti-Semitism right on stage, and you guys are killing it. And maybe I point out here, Chevron, Capcom, and Samsung. know.
This was so insane. Like that was so crazy. That oh my god. I still can't believe that like led to Twitch responding by banning them for a month. And then what did everybody do afterwards? They went doubly hard. He turned around and was like, Dan Clancy is a Nazi. Jesus Christ, dude. I'm a pedophile Nazi? No.
That there is an Arab to Jew tier list happening in front of your sponsor.
This tier list isn't about being Jewish.
It's so funny because there's a Jewish Arab. There are plenty of Arabs who are Jewish. One of them is directly on the panel and got banned because of Ethan's nonsense.
Jewish at all. Not only is one of the panelists Jewish, but in the Love Sabra category, people from all different races and religions were included alongside Ethan. It's more about not knowing much about Arabic culture and therefore eating shitty hummus.
What is it? Ramadan what? Lena,
Yeah, Ramadan Kareem or Ramadan Mubarak.
bike?
Mubarak.
Oh, Mubarak. Mubarak.
Yeah. You said it good.
What does it mean?
Mubarak Obama.
Happy Ramadan.
Mubarak Obama?
I want to address one last point in this video, and it's about the H3 Snark subreddit. For more than a year now, Ethan has been talking about it and saying how toxic this place is, how they promote harassment, doxing, stalking, and why it should be banned.
Because I believe these snark subreddits on Reddit should be banned. It's literally fostering the most psychopathic. It encourages harassment, doxing, stalking. It's just...
I guess it's fine as long as it's not the Destiny subreddit. Or, I mean, I guess he's like unleashed the H3H3 subreddit too, I suspect, against me in a similar vein now. So,
This is like, it's not as bad as jailbait, but it's like giving like, I have a feeling it's going to be banned and then everyone will be like, that was insane. Why the fuck was that allowed on the website for so long? These people are literally, it's cult behavior. I don't think they're allowed to like straight up brigade, so they're doing like a very loud dog whistle being like, hey, let's put a compilation of Ethan. The whole snark phenomenon is so pathetic that Reddit allows this shit to continue because it feels like every snark subreddit leans into like.
see, when it happens to you, it's just you're not capable of taking criticism, but even as a victim. I mean, the irony is that I do think that like snark style subreddits are unhealthy, and I've talked about it personally as well. Like, the issue here is that like he quite literally utilizes my own personal snark subreddit r/Destiny. Once again, a man who has defended the most important civil rights movement of our generation, at least, a white person's right to say the N-word over and over again, and has consistently said the N-word, the white guy. It's just weird. I don't know. I feel like this is gonna accelerate the crash out. I don't know why he doesn't realize that. He said that you have Twitch in your pocket because of the birthday video, even though he met and talked to Susan Wojcicki, which Gnome Star used to accuse him of having YouTube in his pocket. Yeah, but also he's now like aligned with Gnome Star. Keemstar and Destiny are just like this with Ethan right now.
Straight up psychopathy in terms of like the harassment and the intention to try to ruin somebody's life.
Dude, this is my favorite type of guy. Ethan's bigotry has been legitimized by your tolerance. Remember when he dismissed your take on Israel? He asked you for a realist POV, and since he didn't understand it, he dismissed it. You often let him brush off others' perspectives without calling him out. Yeah, dude. You know who you should be mad at? The guy who Ethan Klein, Destiny, Congressperson Richie Torres, and like everyone in Destiny's like psychotic cyber harassment community cult has been actively targeting for being a prominent voice that is critical of Israel. I'm the guy who you should be mad at. Thank you. This is what I mean, by the way, when you are a person a ton of people look up to. No, this is what I mean when I say like a lot of people are exclusively focused on like drama, because like the only way that you personally think that like I wasn't sufficiently critical of Ethan when we had a literal conversation that left like when we had a conversation, we had a back and forth where we had a disagreement. Okay. When we had a major disagreement that ended up ending the podcast, right? And has unfolded over the course of this past year of genocide into like Ethan just falsely smearing me and trying to take down the entire platform that I'm on for the crime of not banning me for some ridiculous bullshit. Even in that circumstance, like I wasn't sufficiently critical. That's crazy. Like it's a very weird attitude to have. It is actually quite off-putting to just like be this laser focused on trying to turn this around and be like, you're the reason, you're at fault here. Bro is a cancel culture goblin? Yeah, literally.
And one last time, let's go back to Ethan's reaction of the North Star radio video and how he uses his own subreddit when he faces criticism, even from a way smaller creator.
First of all, shout out to whoever did the ops on this. Lovely Callisto. Thank you. I made an Imager album of his H3 snark posts in chronological order and sprinkled in a few of his cringy main subreddit posts
I wonder where that guy came from.
too, along with it. So here's this fucking guy. Let's look at some of his greatest hits. He's also making fan covers and asking Ethan to bring back his personal channel. Grimace shaking Fortnite folk cover.
How dare you, dude?
Well, guess what, bitch? I know who the fuck you are, and I'm gonna have a conversation about it. You take a look at this guy's channel.
Shouting out his fans for screenshotting every comment and collecting every information on this guy and showing everything live. How is this different from what Ethan says the snark sub is doing? I mean, it might be even worse because of the power of a channel as big as Ethan's.
Here's a post. I don't know. Was this the same investigator? By the way, I didn't even mention this guy, and he's like deleting his shit. And you should be scared, you fucking scumbag.
What? Wasn't North Star XDefiant first? Yeah, he was. I think you ignoring these guys for a long time, deprives them of content every now and then, pushing back and then moving on seems to work. Also prevents these communities from becoming drama perverts. Yeah, I don't like I don't like building a fan base, and I've been pretty honest and pretty open about this for many years at this point. I've been doing this for quite a while. I don't want to build a fan base around drama and toxicity. I already have enough of that in the real world, in the things that I cover. Like when I'm directly antagonizing or attacking like a right-wing person, like Ben Shapiro, I understand that that could also be featured as like drama or whatever, but like that's a person who is ideologically my enemy, right? I don't agree with his worldview. I don't agree with anything he says. And so that's entirely separate. I categorize that as like politics. I'm not obsessive about debate culture for that reason though, because I feel like it's not necessarily about arriving at the truth, but more so about like addressing certain talking points and presenting certain talking points in an effort to like get something clipped out that you can use to consistently bully. Like you can weaponize your fan base to like consistently bully the other person. But even then, I obviously still engage in debates all the time, regardless of gotcha moments. And I will sometimes also engage in those gotcha moments and stuff like that. I just think that when it becomes your primary focus, it's unproductive overall. He's gonna say you're doing the same thing for looking at that Reddit post, lol. Wait, what? Yeah, what do you mean? I went to my own community's Reddit post because they had compiled all of the instances where I personally, not like cyber stalking Ethan, they had compiled my own talking points that are readily available to the public since like since October 7. Do you not understand that this is a little different than just like using the subreddit? I don't know. Like I wasn't using my own subreddit to like attack Ethan or something. Like I wasn't cyber stalking myself, chat. No, I know it's different. I just mean they'll say it's the same. But also, yeah, it was a good post. It compiled all the shit that I have said already. What the fuck? Oh, he was a Destiny poster. Half of his community just attacks the other half over this. Apparently, if you don't hate Hassan right now, you're not a real fan. I don't agree. I think that I think that there's a lot of people in his fan base who are genuine genuine progressives who probably are at odds with Ethan's perspective, and they just want him to stop, most likely doing this. But he's just like relentlessly using any and every opportunity and any and every avenue to just like keep saying like fuck us on, fuck us on, fuck us on. And the issue with that is, I think that probably turns off more people in his own community than like turns them against me because they believe this news, you know? Because I'm sure there's people who are like, you know what, Ethan, I love you. I don't really know this Hassan guy that well. I trust you. You have made a convincing case that he's a gigantic piece of shit, right? And I believe you, and so I ride with you, right? And that's sad, especially if they're like a progressive-minded person who could otherwise be convinced of seeing the world with my eyes, or rather, you know, develop a better understanding of certain values that we both might have. But outside of that, I think there's a far larger number of people in his community that he has cultivated by being openly progressive, that are most likely looking at this as a crash out and like hoping that it ends at some point. But every time it doesn't end, I suspect that it just, you know, causes people to be even more annoyed. Yeah. It seems like everyone hates you because they ban anyone on their subreddit and live comments who disagrees with or calls out Ethan. Yeah. Like, this is literally, how was you, one, supposed to predict how unchanged you would become, and two, stop it? If you tried, he ignored you and started talking with your chat live on air. A very emotional people having to watch a genocide that didn't happen and even just talk about without October 7th as the backdrop. Genuinely asking, what progressive values has he exhibited? I think Ethan had a real change of heart about the kinds of content that he was making, the kinds of commentaries that he was doing. He became unapologetically pro-trans, like pro-LGBTQ across the board. There was always going to be some hang-ups if you were to look at like the broad swath of things that Ethan says. But beyond that, I think he has been like that for quite some time. And people that say he did it for the money, you're wrong. He could have just been slightly less edgy and he still would have made a fuck ton of money. Look around the internet, chat. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, you're so wrong. There is plenty of opportunity to keep making money. Hand over fist for with aggro right-wing ass content. He's not even calling you or Twitch an anti-Semite anymore. He's just openly flaming your general worldview and doing it from behind 24-hour IG stories with no option for pushback. Is telling that he's no longer calling for a ban after the election. I mean, I'm sure if you agitate him long enough, he will call for a ban again. But I don't know. I just wish he would stop for his own sake, not for mine. I get hate from every sector online. I get hate from every avenue. It's not new. I live in this filth, you know? This is what I'm used to for the most part. Does it suck, or did it originally suck coming from a person that I considered my friend? Yes. Okay? But ultimately it just becomes noise. Consider the criticism, my G. Sad times he did. What has he done? He did it. What do you mean? The man has a family. Think where the hate comes from. Not all criticism is the same. Consider the criticism, my G. You're right. I have considered it. I've considered it for the past year when people from the community that's getting a lot of these clips out of context were coming in here to literally keep repeating these points that I'm like in love with Islamist fundamentalist terrorism and I'm backwards or any number of different things, or that I'm like far too critical of Israel and that's actually giving space to anti-Semitism. They're wrong. So, you know, you're wrong, I guess. My G, you're right on that, but can you meet somewhere in the middle with the Russia stuff? I don't know why. I don't even know what the Russia stuff is in air quotes, but if you personally think I'm pro-Russia, you are also wrong. There has never been a moment where I've been pro-Russia. I know that like there is an entire group of content creators that have actively been like, oh, he's pro-Russia, pro-Russia, pro-Russia this, pro-Russia that, with again clips out of context. But not only did I immediately apologize for ever saying that I did not think Putin was stupid enough to invade Ukraine, But I also actively fundraised for Ukrainian refugees and have consistently criticized Russia over and over and over again, including but not limited to right now, which I assume you don't actually care about my perspective. I suspect, bear with me here, maybe you're going to prove my point in a second. You're going to move on to the next talking point. And I'm assuming that it'll be Taiwan, Tibet, any number of different things. The apathy towards the plight of Ukrainians is what I felt in the last year. Obviously, during the invasion, you were anti-Putin, full-throated. However, it seems like it's changed the last year. Wait, you think I have apathy towards the plight of Ukrainians in the last year? Wait, so you're... What? Okay, that's actually kind of cool. So you're saying I wasn't pro-Russia back then, which is the clips that they're using from that time frame to claim that I'm pro-Russia, but I'm actually now pro-Russia. Anyway.
Yes, he should be scared because Ethan knows by doing that, he's sending his audience to harass this guy. Him and his crew know what their audience is capable of, even if Ethan plays dumb sometimes.
Well, I hope people don't hold us to the standard of what our community does.
Right.
What does our community do? I mean, you say that, but what do they do? Our community is fantastic. It's all love.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Name one thing.
They've never caused us any trouble by... I don't even want to go there.
Well, just tell me and I can button it. Even if they did something silly, because I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm sure it was silly and harmless.
Yeah, definitely silly and harmless. That's what I'm referring to.
But it's not sending like hate and death wishes to supposed friends. Anyway.
Ethan is a snarker. In fact, he's the ultimate snarker, weaponizing his audience to send massive hate waves and his crew to find intel on his enemies. By yelling at his chat when he gets any pushback, turning off comments, paying mods to heavily restrict.
Yeah, I don't want anyone to be mean to a single crew member. I don't even want you to be mean to Ethan. It doesn't really matter. It is what it is. What are you gonna do? H3's community has been coordinating a campaign to get you banned, by the way. No, wow. No way, really? I know.
Looking to post it on his own subreddit. He's not letting any other place to have a nuanced conversation about his show or to present any criticism. He's been trying to portray the people who participate in this sub as stalker lunatics, but in reality, most of them are former big fans who are now disappointed in Ethan and were banned when they tried to express any pushback over the past year.
Oh, Comrade Casey just messaged me and said I'd appreciate not being talked about on the show.
Shut up, bitch! Talk about these nuts. You appreciate me not talking about you?
I just
Suck my dick, bitch.
He said, I'd appreciate not being talked about on the show. And I responded, bruh.
I bet you
And then I
would,
blocked her.
Sucks to be outed as a piece of shit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You.
What is this? Can you explicitly say you don't want us to engage with him and his community so we can't hold that against you later like he did with the not voting shit? Yeah, I don't know what you're saying right now because I've never told people not to vote. What the f are you talking about? And also, I did just do that. What? What is happening? I voted on camera, dog. What the hell? And yeah, of course, don't interact. Do not interact with any of these people. And I have much love for the crew regardless, okay? I have no issues with anybody, okay? I have no enemies. The first part explains the second part. Don't listen. Yeah, I know. That's so funny. I know, but he was adamant that you didn't. Yeah, okay, what am I supposed to do if he's hallucinating, dog? What the f? I spent like an hour on stream in front of like 100,000 people voting, like literally. I had the sticker on here today. I took it off this morning. What the f? No, when you voted on stream, you explicitly said it's okay because you are rich and own property, but that anybody in chat who doesn't shouldn't vote. Yeah, that is famously my take. You are out of the loop on how the crew feels about you, dude. I'm sorry. I will not hold any of that against the crew. And I don't also agree with you either. I don't agree with you at all.
How's that feel, Casey? I'm talking to you right now. Comrade Casey, we're not comrades anymore.
With all that being said, I know I won't change anyone's mind with this video, but if you felt the same way I did, just know you're not alone. In the past few weeks, all the other H3 fan channels I was in contact with for years, people who were as big of fans as I was, have told me they've also unsubscribed because of Ethan's hateful actions. That's it for this video. Take care and free Palestine.
Anyway, he was doing the Hassan.
Oh, what a difference a week makes. Now, if you've been following along, we've been covering a growing list of Trump appointees for his administration with abject horror, as his picks range from cartoonishly evil to frustratingly ironic. But with each new pick, a single familiar thought has passed through our minds. How long will this awful person actually be in charge of the department they've been nominated for? Now, the standard unit of measurement since the last Trump administration has been the Scaramucci, named after former White House Communications Director Anthony Scaramucci, who lasted a staggering 11 days in his position before being removed by then incoming Chief of Staff John Kelly, who also happened to be replacing another Trump pick, former Chief of Staff Rance Priebus.
It was a real revolving door.
So John Kelly fired Scaramucci, or the Mooch, as he likes to be known. And that happened less than 2 weeks after he'd been given the position by Trump, resulting in one of the shortest tenures in a presidential administration, and inspiring people to start measuring Trump administration officials' time in their position as Scaramucci's.
He used his 11 days very, he made the most of it. Yeah. He was on the TV every day, saying loud shit.
Saying how unloyal a lot of people were.
Every journalist that called him, he'd answer the phone, just pissed drunk, and just start talking shit on the record. He was a great Trump appointee. He got it all done in the shortest period of time, and I salute him. But folks, looks like former Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz didn't even last one Scaramucci. He has set the new gold record for how long you can last as a Trump appointee, and it's not
negative time.
Not a real number.
Negative 2 months.
Yeah, he has withdrawn himself from consideration for the role of Attorney General before he could even get confirmed, ending one of the more bizarre and upsetting nominations in recent history. We're going to hope and assume that you've seen our other videos so that we don't have to retread all the nasty details about this freak.
Yeah.
But everything about this nomination just seemed so diabolically obvious that this was probably the only way it was ever going to end. Trump nominated Gaetz for AG just barely a week ago, causing Gaetz to immediately resign from his role in Congress, which was very convenient because the House Ethics Committee was set to release a report about Gaetz involving what is alleged to have been some grossly immoral and illegal behavior with some very young women.
Yeah, but since he resigned from Congress in anticipation of this new promotion, he and a lot of MAGA Republicans apparently assumed that the House investigation was just dead in the water.
Water under the bridge?
We made quick work of that. Nothing to worry about going forward. And look, for a brief moment, they were kind of right. House Speaker Mike Johnson publicly stated that he would strongly suggest that the committee not release its report, and Marjorie Taylor Greene jumped on Twitter to publicly blackmail other members of the Republican Party if they decided to speak out against Gaetz. So the committee report wasn't released, but the nomination itself reignited a ton of interest in the report, as well as the case against his former friend, Joel Greenberg, who is currently serving an 11-year prison sentence for sex trafficking and identity theft, among other things. Also, at one point, just this week, a hacker claimed to have acquired a file that was filled with evidence and testimony against Gaetz through a separate defamation case filed by another former Gaetz ally.
Messy, messy, messy.
It was, and it continues to be.
All in all, it appeared, at least as of the middle of this week, that Matt Gaetz was being credibly accused of paying for sex, using his and his fake stepson's Venmo accounts to pay women for certain activities, and that one of the women he'd had sex with was 17 at the time they'd had sex. Apparently, that alone wasn't enough to sink him, despite members of the Republican Party very vocally coming out against Gaetz, with some stating that there was no way he would actually get confirmed by the Senate. Well, Mr. President, a second sexual encounter with a 17-year-old has hit the news feeds.
Yikes.
And apparently that accusation, combined with everything else, was finally what ended his non-existent career as United States Attorney General. Here's the Associated Press with more. Matt Gaetz withdrew Thursday as President-elect Donald Trump's pick for Attorney General amid continued fallout over a federal sex trafficking investigation that casts doubt on his ability to be confirmed as the nation's chief federal law enforcement officer.
The announcement capped a turbulent 8-day period in which Trump sought to capitalize on his decisive election win to force Senate Republicans to accept provocative selections like Gaetz, who had been investigated by the Justice Department before being tapped last week to lead it. The decision could heighten scrutiny among other controversial Trump nominees, including Pentagon pick Pete Hegseth, who faces sexual assault allegations that he denied. While the momentum was strong, it is clear that my confirmation was unfairly becoming a distraction to the critical work of the Trump-Vance transition. Gaetz, a Florida Republican who one day earlier met with senators in an effort to win their support, said in a statement,
I'm sure those two things have nothing in common.
It is funny that he was sent down to grovel and really put the feelers out on whether or not he would be nominated.
I met with the senators. They all loved me, of course.
Yeah.
But I thought about it and
I made the personal decision to step aside. Not that every senator I met with visibly recoiled when I entered the room. It was the other thing. It was just that I felt it was duping.
These guys, they're being a little bit cold towards me. But you know what'll warm them up? If I show them pictures on my phone of myself having sex with hot young women.
All my sexual conquests. And then tell them repeatedly.
It's a great icebreaker.
And tell them repeatedly how you took drugs in order to, quote, last all night.
That's right.
The reporting continues. There is no time to waste on a needlessly protracted Washington scuffle. Thus, I'll be withdrawing my name from consideration to serve as Attorney General. Trump's DOJ must be in place and ready on day one, he added. And just a side note on all this, as he is known to do, Musk took to X, the Everything app, to talk about how great of a pick Matt Gaetz was, immediately right before Matt Gaetz pulled his own name from the nomination.
He knows how to pick them.
Big things coming for Mr. Gaetz.
Anyway, we already got Ken Paxton falling right into line. Doing what he does best, which is some fucking bullshit legislation in Texas that's just meant to attract the attention of Trump and conservative media.
Yeah.
As for the most recent updates regarding the Gaetz accusation, Gaetz Gate, CNN reported the following. The woman who says she had sex when she was a minor with then Representative Matt Gaetz told the House Ethics Committee she had 2 sexual encounters with him at one party in 2017. Sources familiar with her testimony tell CNN the woman, who was 17 years old at the time, testified that the second sexual encounter, which has not previously been reported, included another adult woman. She also testified to both sexual encounters in a civil deposition as part of a related lawsuit, sources said. After being asked for comment for this story, Gaetz announced he was backing out as President-elect Donald Trump's Attorney General nominee. An attorney for the woman who was a minor at the time of the sexual encounters has called for the ethics report to be released immediately, noting that his client was a high school student at the time and saying there were witnesses.
Yikes.
And yeah, as we showed on our most recent episode, there's a whole gigantic chart. Look at this graph of Venmo transactions pointing at Gaetz. And if nothing else, even if these were just accusations, it's still fucking bizarre to send hundreds of dollars to legal or barely legal teens with notes like, love you and thinking of you, or cartridges.
Yeah.
Thanks for being a friend.
Very suspicious stuff.
Tuition.
Yeah.
Car deductible.
So where does this leave Gaetz? Well, unfortunately for all of us, he probably won't be slinking back to the sewers where he belongs and will most likely serve in the Trump administration in a role that doesn't require Senate approval.
God damn it.
Or he could just technically go back to his role in Congress.
Can he?
Yeah, his resignation actually stated that he simply did not intend to take the oath of office for Congress.
It's like when George Costanza loudly quit his job and then just showed back up the next day and pretended nothing happened.
Yeah, he might actually do that. He can now just intend to take the oath instead of not intending to. But of course, that would open him back up for further scrutiny from investigators. Now, his other options are becoming a full-time media surrogate for the Trump administration on various outlets, which he already does anyway.
He can be the new Pete Hegseth. They got a lot in common.
Yeah, and there's a position that's open just at the right time.
Well, for now.
Yeah. And a lot of people seem to think that this is part of the plan. He could run for governor of Florida in 2 years when Ron DeSantis' term ends.
They'll fucking elect him, too.
Yes, they would.
They're crazy enough for that.
Uh-huh.
Oh, man.
So the easiest option is for him to just be a talking head. That is
A big talking head.
yeah, he has a giant head. Because the other options will always bring back the very credible allegations about Gates.
But like running for Florida governor, that's like, they're like, listen, everyone outside of Florida might find all that pretty weird, but that's just how we do things here.
Yeah.
That's just the Florida man lifestyle.
Get things done. Yeah, so one thing is for sure, this dude and his big Botox-riddled head will likely haunt us for a little while longer.
Great.
Yeah, even if he's just a talking head, that's a big talking head, and I don't want to hear from him.
Yeah. Just like really close up on his head for no reason.
He's definitely going to be one of those guys that when he gets really old, he overdoes it with the black dye on his eyebrows and facial hair.
He's
and
going to
actual
overdo
hair.
it with a lot of things. He's like 42. There's no reason to be doing that much fucking facial shit at 42.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
He's going to end up looking like the evil guy from Jim Carrey's The Mask. The big scary one. Yes.
As for who will take on the role of U.S. Attorney General, it was announced on Thursday afternoon that former Florida Attorney General, MAGA loyalist, and Fox News guest Pam Bondi was nominated by President-elect Trump to be the nation's top cop. Bondi will fit right in with the rest of the Trump cronies. During her time as Florida's AG, she tried to overturn the Affordable Care Act, tried to overturn the ban on denying health care coverage for people with pre-existing conditions, and opposed same-sex marriage.
Ah, she'll fit right in.
Yeah. She also has ties to Scientology because they've got quite a presence down there in Clearwater.
Yeah, Clearwater, Florida is
pretty
the
much
second hub.
They own that town.
Yes, that's their, I believe that's their port for their Sea Org. And also they bought up all the buildings in downtown, and
It's apparently a very creepy place to find yourself in.
Clearwater Beach, pretty nice. Clearwater the city, fuck vibes.
She has fully supported the claims of voter fraud in the 2020 election. Not the 2024 one. That one had no voter fraud.
Absolutely zero voter fraud.
Clean election.
Finally.
And she declined to join a lawsuit against Trump University after Trump's foundation made a $25,000 donation to her re-election campaign.
Wow.
Just blatantly corrupt.
So all of this stuff is like, the fact that all of it happens in the daylight, especially in the past like week or two, is just, it's maddening because you're looking at it and saying, is anyone else seeing this?
Yeah, I mean, if there's one good silver lining to the Trump era, it's that we can stop fucking pretending
Like
that
this
our
isn't
country
happening.
is like better than anyone else.
No, there's just as much corruption going on.
Yeah. So very cool, very cool. Regarding this little do-over pick for Attorney General, round 2, Trump said the following on Truth Social.
I am proud to announce former Attorney General of the great state of Florida, Pam Bondi, as our next Attorney General of the United States. For too long, the partisan Department of Justice has been weaponized against me and other Republicans. Not anymore. Pam will refocus the DOJ to its intended purpose of fighting crime and making America safe again. I have known Pam for many years. She is smart and tough and is an America First fighter and who will do a terrific job as Attorney General. Okay, well, speaking of administration shakeups, it looks like the Department of Government Efficiency was not efficient enough with just 2 people running it. They have pulled in another heavy hitter to help dismantle programs and departments that they don't agree with. We made it even more efficient. Marjorie Titan Reed.
Are you fucking serious?
Has been tapped to work alongside Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, and we can only hope that they all eat each other alive during some sort of sick internal power struggle.
Here's what I hope. I hope she gets Elon into CrossFit and he does it, and then the thing that happens to like an alarmingly high percentage of people who do CrossFit happens to him. By which I mean he breaks his fucking back. Doing pull-ups completely wrong.
Debilitating injury.
Yeah.
Doing rapid pull-ups.
I'm so fit.
The other likely scenario...
Exercise is a sport.
The other likely scenario is Marjorie Taylor Greene asks for a little bit of IVF to help, perpetuate the Elon Musk population.
She's still fertile, probably. Maybe.
I'm not going to comment on any of that, but I'm just saying anytime Elon Musk tends to work with women, they usually end up with his children.
The cum is always on the table for those who want to.
And he's not fucking them. He's not having sex with them. That's
absolutely.
disgusting. He is simply providing his semen to anyone who is willing to take it on.
Yeah, I think she might be willing.
Anyways, here's the NBC News with the real story here.
Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, Republican of Georgia, has been tapped to lead a new House subcommittee that will work with the so-called Department of Government Efficiency led by Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. Greene's group will be dubbed the Subcommittee on Delivering on Government Efficiency, allowing it to share the DOGE acronym with the outside of government entity commissioned by President-elect Donald Trump. I'm excited to chair this new subcommittee designed to work hand in hand with President Trump, Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, whatever, and the entire DOGE team. Greene said in a statement to CNBC.
She was so upset that she had to pronounce Vivek's name.
I don't recognize those words.
She's going to kick him out of a bathroom.
She said her panel will lead to the firings of government bureaucrats and vowed to provide transparency and truth to the American people through hearings. No topic will be off the table, Greene said, including that cum of Elon's.
You better bring
I'm going to get some of that cum.
Yeah. And for an idea of what's going to be on that chopping block in the very near future, one example they posted about includes programs that provide medical care to veterans.
Get rid of it. I like the soldiers who don't get hurt.
My boyfriend served in the Great Street Fighter Wars of the 1990s, and he's got a big, hairy chest.
That's right.
In a tweet, the DOGE committee pointed to a Congressional Budget Office report that lists programs whose authorizations have expired under federal law, and Business Insider analyzed the document and found that, quote, the CBO report included 491 such programs totaling about $516 billion. Most of that money goes to 24 big-ticket items, including medical care for veterans, housing assistance vouchers for low-income renters, college Pell Grants, the National Institutes of Health, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and NASA's major initiatives.
We don't need any of that shit. Get rid of it.
Yeah, SpaceX will take it over.
First of all, what the hell do veterans need health care for? When they got the VFW, they're still selling beers for $1 down at the VFW.
It used to be a quarter, though, Elliot.
I know. Biden's economy.
Yeah, they also provided a handy graphic showing the budget appropriations and what the money is used for. And yeah, it's right there at the top. All programs that help Americans who are most in need of assistance.
Fuck them.
And a vast majority of those funds go directly to the medical care of military veterans. Typically a button you don't press when you're a Republican or Republican adjacent.
Well, that's the thing. They talk a big talk, but then in practice, it's not that good for military and veteran communities. But the fact
based on the cult-like response too, veterans will thank them.
Yeah, the fact that they're just considered the party of
the military
soldiers and veterans and whatnot, they can get away with shit like this. Whereas, like, if the Democrats even got anywhere near touching any of this stuff, there'd be never be the end of it.
Yeah. So this is just one example of the approach that they'll be taking in the quest for ultimate efficiency. But it seems as though they're going to look at numbers and then suggest cuts regardless of what those budgets are funding. Wow, that's a big number. Let's get rid of it.
Yeah, it's like when Elon bought Twitter and he was just sort of going around like flipping switches.
Yeah.
Just, all right, I guess we didn't need whatever that was.
We should reallocate those funds to a giant metal X that goes on the roof.
There's a 2007 Mac Mini in a closet. Clearly that couldn't be for anything important. Turn it off.
Turn it off.
Moving on, though. Here in the United States, if you try to do a coup and it fails, well, all you have to do is sort of lie about it for 4 years and then get reelected to the position that you tried to steal back in the first place. Beep, bop, boop. Done. But down in Brazil, they do things a little bit differently. Looks like there might actually be some consequences for trying to do a coup, and the most hospitalized, sickest man on the planet, Jair Bolsonaro, will be fighting criminal conspiracy charges instead of fighting flightless birds, as he's been indicted for attempting a coup back in 2022.
My theory is that he did the coup in order to get caught, to go to prison, to stay away from those emus.
Yeah.
Because they'll poke his eye out.
They're everywhere.
Yeah.
They're always watching.
Here's NPR.
Brazil's federal police say the former right-wing president, Jair Bolsonaro, attempted to launch a coup in 2022 to stay in office following his re-election defeat. The police indicted 36 other people as part of what they say was a criminal conspiracy working to keep Bolsonaro in power after he lost the 2022 election to President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. Among the dozens allegedly part of the conspiracy are Bolsonaro's former defense minister, who was also his vice presidential running mate, and number of former close aides. The federal police report called the coup an attempt to violently dismantle the constitutional state.
On Tuesday, officials arrested 4 members of the military, including a top aide to Bolsonaro, who they said colluded to assassinate then-President-elect Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, his vice presidential pick, and a Supreme Court justice. The plan was to spark a federal emergency that would allow Bolsonaro to declare a state of siege and stay in power as a caretaker government. In a post on X, Bolsonaro said his lawyers would have to look more closely at the indictment. If convicted of attempting a coup and criminal association, the former president could face years in prison.
He should have stayed in Florida, sleeping in that minion bed.
Yeah.
What an idiot.
Bolsonaro has denied all charges and says he is being politically persecuted.
So, yeah, the Chad Lula da Silva versus the virgin Joe Biden. He had even less time to prosecute. And, wow. Turns out you can just prosecute a former president for doing crimes. What?
And more than almost 3 dozen other people involved in it.
Yeah. And, you know, it's a lot easier to do that when you are an actual populist president who appeals to, you know, the working class and presents a unified vision of, like, improving society in various ways instead of being a symbol of the status quo and everything wrong with it. It's crazy how much more you can accomplish when you stand for something.
It is going to be looked back as just catastrophic that someone tried to do a coup and then just nothing happened.
Yeah.
And then they got reelected.
Yeah, it's just, again, silver lining. Everything's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
All the things that are supposedly great about America are fucking bullshit, and they always were, but now we know.
There's some good things.
Yeah?
Yeah, like theme parks and hot dogs.
I like the national parks. That was cool.
And national parks.
That was cool of them to do that,
Right,
but
yeah.
like, that's another thing that's like, you know, you assume we're always going to have these national parks, and but then, well, maybe not.
J.D. Vance a couple months ago was like, we got a lot of federal land that we could do some stuff with.
I mean, he's like not wrong about that, but it's
That doesn't bode well.
Kind of a red line.
Protected land.
And it's stupid to be like, whoa, all these people that need housing, why don't we just send them out into the wilderness? That's the only thing I can come up with is just sending all these people into the fucking wilderness.
Yeah.
What do you mean build more housing in cities? No, ew.
But yeah, him being, or Bolsonaro claiming to be politically persecuted sounds pretty typical. Though if he does get desperate enough, there's no telling how many creative ways that he can hurt himself in order to end up in the hospital wrapped in bandages.
He won't spend a single day in a cell. He'll be in a hospital bed that entire sentence.
You know, and we get to it later in the episode, something to look forward to. But you know who isn't being accused of doing a coup, but is still ending up wrapped in bandages multiple times over the past couple of months and years is Jay Leno. Jay Leno, the second most hospitalized man. We'll get to it, don't worry.
He pissed off the Final Destination demon, and they're coming for him.
Yeah, he cannot stay healthy.
He has earned himself many kisses from the devil.
Yeah. Okay, well, we will be back with more, including that in just a second, and also including a brief story about yet another member of the Internet Today Rogues Gallery coming back in this very weird week. We've heard from so many in the past week or so.
A lot of callbacks.
We haven't heard from this guy in quite some time. But first, let's take a second to thank today's sponsors, starting with Manscaped. Fellas, the holiday season is here, and trust me, you don't want to be the guy showing up with tangled tinsel in your ornaments. Luckily, our friends at Manscaped have got you covered from head to, well, down the chimney with the Beard and Balls bundle. Featuring the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra and the Beard Hedger, this bundle will make sure you're a gift worth unwrapping. Get ready for those mistletoe moments and get 20% off plus free shipping with the code NEWSDUMP at manscaped.com.
The Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra is your ball's new best friend. It cuts through the North Pole of bushes with ease, and it's gentle on your most delicate Christmas ornaments. It's got 2 skin-safe blade heads for versatility, whether you're after a tidy trim or a smooth, festive finish. And it's got dual LED spotlights, so you can see everything clearly, even in those tricky spots.
It's like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer for your balls.
Yeah. This naughty boy is waterproof, so you can trim in the shower and avoid a blizzard of hair all over the bathroom floor. Its travel lock feature is ideal for holiday getaways, ensuring your trimmer stays off in your luggage and ready for action when you are. And it's perfect for a quick trim before any holiday party. No one wants to find hair in their eggnog.
There's also the Beard Hedger. Keep your beard in check, or Santa might think you're after his job and his wife. The Beard Hedger's titanium-coated T-blade will tackle your winter beard, whether you want to go full-on Santa or keep it neat for New Year's. It has a built-in zoom wheel with 20 different lengths, which means no more bags of assorted garbage. It's waterproof, too, perfect for trimming after a snowball fight or just freshening up in the shower. It's got 60 minutes of runtime with an LED charge indicator because nothing's worse than a half-finished beard when your sleigh is ready to go. Join the 11 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped to stay sharp this holiday season. Get the Beard and Balls bundle today and slay your grooming routine. Get 20% off plus free shipping with code NEWSDUMP at manscaped.com. That is 20% off plus free shipping with the code NEWSDUMP at manscaped.com, because Santa isn't the only one who needs his sack well groomed this year. Whew.
This episode is also brought to you by Public Rec. Let's be real, guys. Wearing nice pants sucks. Who decided that stiff, uncomfortable fabric squeezing your family jewels was the key to looking sharp? Well, here's an early holiday gift from me to you. Those days are finally over. Public Rec's Daymaker pants are here to make sure you stay comfy and classy this season. They feel like your favorite sweats, but they look like tailored pants. And no one's ever gonna know.
Nobody's the wiser.
They're super stretchy with an elastic waistband, so you can rock them anywhere. Give the gift of comfort to yourself or someone you love this holiday season with Public Rec's Daymaker pants. And for a limited time, you can get 20% off your entire order with code NEWSDUMP at publicrec.com. That's 20% off when you use promo code NEWSDUMP at publicrec.com.
Now, if you know us, you know we love comfort. And that's why we were thrilled to take Public Rec's Daymaker pants, as well as some of their classic shirts, for a spin. And we can confirm, these clothes are comfy as hell. Their proprietary blend of performance materials provides the perfect combination of breathability and stretch while still holding its form. You'll never want to take them off. But they're not just comfy, they're stylish too. The Daymaker pants come in 10 unique colorways, from navy, dark olive, and stone gray. You're sure to find the right color for you. Public Rec not only has the most comfortable pants ever made, but they have a huge selection of high-quality everyday basics. You can revamp your entire wardrobe with their perfect-fitting polos, shorts, and hoodies.
Stop suffering in regular pants and give the gift of comfort this holiday season. For a limited time only, our viewers get 20% off when you use code NEWSDUMP at checkout. That's 20% off with the code NEWSDUMP at publicrec.com. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you.
Yeah.
Say goodbye to pants that put up a fight, because when comfort meets style, you've found Public Rec.
All right, now let's get back into the news, and here's a name that we haven't heard in a little bit. Jussie Smollett.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that would be...
We really are going into another Trump era, aren't we?
That would be the actor from Empire who faked a hate crime against himself in a way that was so obvious that it led to months of ridicule and some pretty serious charges against him.
Yeah, I mean, he wasted a lot of local resources.
Yeah, for a quick recap, Smollett apparently wanted a bit more notoriety and a larger paycheck.
It's a hell of a plan.
Yeah, so he cooked up the craziest caper you've ever heard.
Surely they'll give me more screen time on Empire if I fake a hate crime.
Mm-hmm. So he paid two guys who also apparently worked tangentially on the show.
Two, like, Nigerian dudes.
Yeah, he paid two guys to dress up as MAGA supporters in Chicago, of all places, and then physically attack him and call him a bunch of slurs.
And also put a noose around his neck, but like...
No, it was only, the cops came once, and then he put the noose on after again. He I forgot the noose.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This all fell apart very quickly after a very extensive investigation by the city of Chicago, and they ended up just pinning the crime on Smollett himself. So the fact that he had diverted funds and time away from other very important crimes to solve this fake one left a real bad taste in people's mouths.
Yeah, you shouldn't be able to just do that.
Also, it was during a time where very, very, very real and serious hate crimes were happening a lot.
Yeah, no, there was a solid, 1 or 2 years after that where anytime anything happened...
Oh, there's another
Jussie Smollett.
Yeah.
Great job, asshole. He was charged with filing a false police report, and at the time, his defense team reached a deal with the prosecutor's office where the charges were dropped after Smollett performed 16 hours of community service and forfeited a $10,000 bond. Now, this was extremely suspicious after all of the media notoriety the case received, and the prosecutor who dropped the charges, Kim Fox, with 2 X's, was then investigated over her decision. Smollett was indicted again a year later under similar charges. After the trial, Smollett was found guilty on almost every single count and was subsequently sentenced to 150 days in jail and 2.5 years of probation. And now, it appears that the second case against Smollett has been reversed, and the original sentencing under Kim Fox has been upheld, meaning that Smollett is no longer a convicted felon and is well beyond his time served after doing that brief stint of community service. Here's USA Today.
The Illinois Supreme Court has overturned actor Jussie Smollett's conviction for staging a fake hate crime against himself. In a decision issued Thursday, the court said the Empire actor, 42, should not have been charged for the same incident a second time after the original charges brought against him were dropped in 2019.
That is double jeopardy.
Yeah, this is like, you can get mad at the situation, but this is on that prosecutor who was then got in a lot of trouble for doing that.
Right.
So it's kind of on them for not upholding justice in this scenario. He got lucky. Smollett was alleged to have falsely reported to the police that he was a victim of a hate crime. He was found guilty in 2021 on 5 counts of disorderly conduct. Because the initial charges were dismissed as part of an agreement with Smollett and he performed his part of the agreement, the second prosecution was barred, the ruling said. And look, a lot of people have been talking about this online. This has less to do with Jussie Smollett avoiding harsher punishments and more to do with the former prosecutor cutting a deal with his defense team.
A very suspicious deal.
Yeah, and that just resulted on him getting a little slap on the wrist. The courts basically said that he had fulfilled his original obligations and the charges were dropped. So he couldn't legally be tried and convicted again. Either way, this is so far in the past that it is unlikely he was experiencing any kind of punishment to this day, aside from the very, very self-inflicted destruction of his own career.
Yeah, is he still acting?
His sister's in stuff, I believe.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah.
And she's hot. The only thing I've seen Jussie Smollett in, and I watched this recently, was Alien Covenant. And,
oh yeah, I watched it recently and was like, holy crap.
Yeah, he's like, wait, is that Jussie Smollett? And then it's like super funny because he's like really gay in real life. And there's like the only sex scene in the movie involves Jussie Smollett and a woman having like shower sex. And I did not find it believable.
I don't believe you.
Anyway, speaking of the entertainment industry, what the hell's going on with Jay Leno?
I don't know. This man, he's really coming for the throne.
He kicked a black cat. He walked under several ladders. He's stepped on so many cracks.
He's trying to do a coup for Bolsonaro's hospital room.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
He looks really cool now, though.
Who, Jay Leno?
Yeah, he's got a fucking eye patch.
Yeah, he has an eye patch, but it's covering up, and half of his face is black and blue.
Well, you let that heal and you keep the eye patch, and then you drive around in your fucking
Cruella de Vil looking cars.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh wow, you look like Snake Plissken. Pretty cool.
But yeah, is this all some sort of cosmic retribution for what he did to Conan O'Brien?
I think so.
Is God canonically Irish?
Yes,
I think so.
Yeah.
Does he owe someone millions of dollars worth of gambling debt and refuses to pay, so they keep tinkering around in his cars late at night?
How many times do we have to keep teaching you this lesson?
Something's going on because he keeps showing up on camera with increasingly severe injuries, and it's causing a lot of people to wonder what the hell's happening to this man.
Yeah.
First, he gets badly burned while working on one of his just too many cars, and then he gets into a motorcycle accident which results in multiple injuries, and now he's apparently fallen down a large hill. And this explanation is already spawning conspiracy theories online. I fell down a hill. Don't worry about it. That's an excuse that a battered wife in like the 11th century would tell her other fellow female friends.
Yeah, not to make light of an injury, I guess, but yeah. So two things that people are latching onto here is he stayed at like the most budget motel ever, while performing at a resort.
Hey, yeah,
he is frugal. He is frugal.
Yeah, I respect that. It's kind of weird, but
someone did like a Google Street View of the hill, and it's like no one would confuse that for a way to cut through to somewhere else. It is like a significant drop straight down.
It would be funny if like Jay Leno, despite owning 1,000 cars, is like really big on like city planning and like, you know, you got to walk places. You know, this with the car culture, America's too dependent on cars.
Yeah, there's freeways. They're adding another lane. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? It's never going to work.
Anyway, here's the story as told from The Hollywood Reporter. Jay Leno is recovering after falling down a large hill over the weekend, leaving him with an eye patch and a large bruise. The former Tonight Show host was asked about the accident by TMZ on Monday, where he shared that he was staying at a hotel located at the top of a hill and fell while walking to a nearby restaurant towards the bottom of the hill. To get to it, I didn't have a car, so you had to walk about 1.5 miles around. I said, well, the hill doesn't look that steep. It's about 60 or 70 feet. Let me see if I can go down that hill, Leno explained, detailing the fall, which left him with a bruise covering half his face. I fell down. Boom, boom, boom. I rolled down the hill, hit my head on a rock, knocked me in the eye.
He's like, I'm sure that this probably happened. I'm
just picturing the scene from like Hot Rod where he falls down the hill and it's just absurdly long.
A deeper cut, the scene from Kung Pao Enter the Fist where a baby's tumbling down the hill and someone grabs it and is like, oh, okay. And then just puts it and keeps rolling down the hill. But yes, it is. I'm sure this happened, but the amount of detail that he goes in with every particular injury.
Yeah, it's got some like RFK, the Bear story vibes.
Yeah, he's creating a whole universe.
So yeah,
and of course there was a perfectly positioned rock at the bottom, and yeah, well that's where I hit my eye.
Okay, a lot of detail here. Yeah. So Inside Edition posted a video of Jay where, looks like he's been back room at a Vegas casino in the 50s or something after. Counting cards. Half of his face is black and blue, and he's wearing an eye patch. The internet does what it does, and now there's theories about his injuries. Here's a few examples.
Now, first of all, there's obviously no shortage of accusations of this being highly suspicious, with countless people chiming in to say something along the lines of, this doesn't add up. But here's a few detailed posts.
Well, it was a hate crime. They were like, you're in MAGA country.
and The Rock had a MAGA hat on it. Here's some more detailed posts. Just let me get this right. 1, net worth of $450 million, stays at a Hampton Inn 30 miles outside of downtown. 2, builds a brand about being obsessed with cars, walks a mile through the woods to get dinner. 3, falls 60 feet down a hill, injures his right arm and left side of his face.
Yeah, I mean, if you're that old and you fall down a hill, I feel like the injuries would be worse. But I mean, he's also
pretty severe.
He's oddly shaped, so maybe he sort of rolled.
That chin took most of the damage.
Yeah, he took it on the chin.
Yeah,
Jay Leno.
This almost leads into the same excuse or the same question of when you were that rich, why not just call an Uber? It's the same thing that you get posed to when you see a rich person get a DUI. Where you're just like, you have infinite money. At least get an Uber. If it is actually 1.5 miles away and you don't feel like
Jay Leno is America is too dependent on cars. We need to start walking more places.
They can put the people movers in here. Imagine a staircase down this beautiful hill.
What was a man worth $400 million doing at the Hampton Inn?
He's frugal.
Yeah, that's how the rich stay rich.
Yeah, they're not spending money on fancy resorts. Yeah. Someone is trying to kill Jay Leno.
Maybe.
I mean, Conan O'Brien, where has he been the past week or so?
Here's a more concrete.
Conan O'Brien needs an enemy. That's a new podcast.
Yeah. Here's a more concrete theory. Nah, Jay Leno got his ass beat and tortured. Fell down a hill and then went and performed the same night? Hell nah. That Hollywood mafia got his ass.
I love the idea that it would be like NBC, who's like, we need ratings again. Someone get Jay Leno on the phone, and he's like, nah, I don't think that. I think I'm pretty happy just working on my car.
Nobody says no to NBC, Jay.
Yeah,
sounds like someone needs to remind Jay Leno who runs things in this town.
Book him a gig down at the Yamava Resort, but tell him he can't stay there. Tell him he has to stay at a Hampton Inn an hour away. And make sure that Hampton Inn is on a hill surrounded by steep cliffs.
It's odd.
Yeah. So another post. I fell down a hill at a hotel is the most obvious I owe the mafia nuclear budget money panic story of all time.
And then, of course, that brother is in deep gambling debt. Which maybe, I don't know, does Jay Leno, does he even gamble?
What if he was a secret gambler? Because
he does perform at a lot of casinos.
Yeah, this is a trope, a movie trope, where yes, someone keeps showing up with more and more significant injuries, and the tale behind the scenes is that he owes somebody money. There's a loan shark that is beating his ass. But again, I'm sure that he actually just fell down a hill. But.
Yeah, I think like if Jay Leno owed someone a lot of money, it'd be very easy to collect on that money by taking one of his, again, like hundreds of cars. No one would even know it was gone.
Take the one that burned me. I
don't like being around it. I don't like looking at it. That car's evil.
Yeah. Anyways, finally today, a few dumb crypto news stories for you, including a follow-up to a years-old story about a duct tape banana being labeled as an art piece.
Oh, I liked that.
And then selling for a whole lot of money. Would you be surprised to learn that the new owner of that banana is a crypto bro?
No, not at all.
Well, here's Dallas ABC outlet WFAA with more. A piece of conceptual art consisting of a simple banana duct taped to a wall sold for $6.2 million at an auction in New York on Wednesday, with the winning bid coming from a prominent cryptocurrency entrepreneur. Median, by Italian artist Maurizio Catalan, was a phenomenon when it debuted in 2019 at Art Basel, Miami Beach, as festival goers tried to make out whether the single yellow piece of fruit affixed to a white wall with silver duct tape was a joke or cheeky commentary on questionable standards among art critics. At one point, another artist took the banana off the wall and ate it. The piece attracted so much attention that it had to be withdrawn from the view. The 3 editions sold for between $120,000 and $150,000, according to the gallery handling sales at the time.
5 years later, Justin Sun, founder of the cryptocurrency platform Tron, has now paid more than 40 times that higher price point at the Sotheby's auction. Or more accurately, Sun purchased a certificate of authenticity that gives him the authority to duct tape a banana to a wall and call it media.
Oh,
this is such a crypto bro thing to buy. It's literally a real-life NFT. He bought the receipt to some art. Now he can say it's his.
No, I have the certificate of authenticity.
Any banana that I tape to a wall is the banana taped to a wall.
It's the infinite money glitch.
Yeah.
You just keep taping bananas to walls, and since you're the guy who owns the $6 million banana, you just put up as many $1 million bananas as you want, I guess.
And now we're going to put it on the blockchain.
Very cool.
Anyway, the article continues. Bidding started at $800,000 and within minutes shot up to $2 million, then $3 million, then $4 million, and higher as the auctioneer, Oliver Barker, joked, "Don't let it slip away. Don't miss this opportunity," Barker said. "These are words I've never thought I'd say. $5 million for a banana."
It's awesome that this guy's last name is Barker.
Yeah, he was nominative determinism.
Yeah.
The final hammer price announced in the room was $5.2 million, which didn't include the about $1 million in auction house fees paid by the buyer. In a statement, Sun said the piece represents a cultural phenomenon that bridges the worlds of art, memes, and the cryptocurrency community. But he said the latest version of Comedian won't last long. Additionally, in the coming days, I will personally eat the banana as part of this unique artistic experience, honoring its place in both art history and popular culture, Sun said.
Shut up.
Taxes. We need taxes.
Take this guy's money. He doesn't deserve it. Also, someone already ate the banana. That's not even a new creative thing that you're doing to it. Another artist ate it at the exhibition.
But this is a new banana.
Whatever.
And because he has the receipt, any banana is the banana.
He should eat the certificate of authenticity.
That would be cool.
That would be.
I would respect that.
Yes. All right, over in obvious crypto news, it turns out, shockingly, Logan Paul, the one who beat up Mike Tyson.
Nope, wrong Paul, brother.
Logan Paul, the one who was on Bizarrevark on Disney.
Nope, that's Jake. Forget it, Jake.
Logan Paul, the Japanese suicide force guy.
That's correct.
Has been accused of misleading his young, impressionable fans over crypto investments.
What?
And is now facing a multi-million-dollar lawsuit regarding the Crypto Zoo project. Here's BBC News, who, in their article, say a bunch of very obvious things out loud.
Also, in their broadcast, in their 1-hour TV broadcast documentary about this, they feature a tweet from yours truly within the first, 30 seconds.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Yeah, someone commented on, one of our videos this week, and so I went on Blue Sky, and I was just like, hey, can someone...
You mean the new app, the hot new app, Blue Sky, that's quickly replacing X, the everything app?
The BBC, it's stupid. You can't watch any of the fucking documentaries on there without a BBC iPlayer membership, which is only possible if you live in the United Kingdom. So I was like, hey, if anyone's in the UK, can you just, check this out? And someone got back to me with a screenshot of it. And, yeah, it's a tweet of mine from, around the Suicide Forest days where I talk shit on him.
Yeah. The BBC has seen new evidence suggesting Logan Paul promoted investments without revealing he had financial interest in them. The influence of Paul, whose YouTube channel has more than 23 million followers, appears to have caused pricing in his investments to spike, leading to suggestions he could have profited from sales of any tokens he held. Paul also currently faces a multi-million-dollar lawsuit over a failed crypto project called Crypto Zoo. He denies any wrongdoing. The BBC has discovered that shortly before Paul tweeted about a particular crypto coin in 2021, an anonymous crypto wallet with close connections to his public wallet had traded in the coin. That anonymous wallet went on to make $120,000 profit. Our finding comes after Time Magazine reported similar activity involving a different cryptocurrency and another anonymous wallet.
And they go on to say that they'd requested an interview with Paul, and his team demanded that the BBC reporter fly to Puerto Rico, where he lives for tax purposes, for that in-person interview. And then once they agreed to do so, they showed up to find a Logan Paul lookalike sitting in his place, ready to answer questions, which is it's pretty funny.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
Yeah.
That's a good bit.
Points for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when you get a look at the guy, it's a pretty solid likeness.
When I scrolled through the picture, I was like, oh my God, does Logan Paul have cancer?
Yeah.
That was my immediate reaction.
Looks like a slightly more homeless Logan Paul.
Yeah.
But yeah, the BBC was not amused, and after the interview was abandoned, they claimed that Paul's lawyers sent them a letter threatening consequences if they published their findings. They did so anyway.
Yeah.
But anyway, the reporting continues, going into details about Crypto Zoo in particular, saying Logan Paul is now facing a lawsuit concerning his next venture in crypto, Crypto Zoo. This was marketed as an online trading card game, but instead of cards, Crypto Zoo was to use NFTs, collectible pieces of digital art that can have a value of their own. To play Crypto Zoo, it was necessary to buy a cryptocurrency called Zoo Token that could then be used to buy NFT eggs. Paul's team claimed these hybrid animals would somehow make participants money by passively generating more Zoo Tokens. It's a really fun game that makes you money, he told his audience shortly ahead of the launch in September 2021. Crypto Zoo attracted about $18.5 million in investment.
Ugh. At least 130 investors are now involved in a lawsuit against Paul. They claim they lost about $4.2 million. The lawyer behind the claim, Tom Kirker, himself a popular YouTuber on legal affairs, says the failure to deliver the game forms only part of the case. He says leaked messages reveal Paul and his team were involved in a stealth launch of the Zoo tokens, allowing them to quietly buy in at a low price. The team appeared to agree that they can begin selling once the total value of all the Zoo token in circulation hits $200 million, he says. Paul has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing related to Crypto Zoo. Earlier this year, Paul announced a partial compensation scheme for disappointed investors. Always something you do when you've done nothing wrong.
I did nothing wrong, but anyway.
He promised to refund people who had bought the NFT eggs, but only if they agreed not to sue him for anything related to crypto.
Okay. So it's like just a preemptive settlement.
Yeah. I did nothing wrong, but I'll give you a little bit of money if you also say that.
I feel like every popular YouTuber does this. There was recently, it was an actual like crypto website that published this investigation into Mr. Beast. And
yeah.
I haven't seen it get picked up outside of that, but like it seems like they know what they're fucking doing. This is like their area of expertise. And
it was a very lengthy...
Yeah, detailed. Like half this shit I can't fucking follow it, but like it seemed like a pretty rock solid case that Mr. Beast has been like wash trading cryptos for like years and has made tens of millions of dollars rug pulling people.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of this is just, I mean, it's predatory in the sense that they ripped off their fans, but also the fact that they were probably doing this like la 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 la, where they're like, yeah, this company's gonna give you a ton of the crypto, and then like you promote it, and then like that's worth money, you can cash out whenever. And it's like, oh, okay, sure.
Yeah.
Or in Logan Paul's case, you allegedly conspire behind the scenes to actually do that. So
yeah, that's the thing with Logan Paul is like he put his fucking name and face to this. Where the Mr. Beast thing is just he would be like, oh, I just bought some tokens of this, and then a bunch of people would buy them, and then he'd sell those tokens and make a huge profit.
Yeah, he would like tweets or respond to tweets by companies like, oh yeah, pretty cool project you got here.
Anyway, these people are all terrible.
Yeah, but you know who's not terrible? You know who you can buy a physical product from? That's right, baby.
Take a look at these.
That's releasing, as of the time you watch this, it might be out, but we will leave a link in the description below. It goes live at 3 p.m. Eastern today, Friday. What's today? The 22nd.
Yeah.
You can buy this, and it helps us out.
They sit on top of your monitor.
They can sit wherever
you
want.
They look at you. They laugh at you.
Yeah.
Laugh with you.
This is not an investment. This is not investment advice. This is just a product
this
that is
will
physical.
not gain value.
No.
In fact, it'll probably lose value.
Yes. But buy at the top. That's what they always say.
Yeah.
And that's us right now. You can buy us. Go to the link in the description if it's after 3 p.m.
Adult collectible, not a toy.
That's right. But anyways,
these aren't dolls, these are figurines.
And they're collectible. Make sure you leave a like on the video. Do it right now. Click the like button. We really appreciate you doing that. If you'd like to talk about anything we mentioned today, including our little guys here, leave a comment below. Get a conversation going. Tell us about something you did today. I don't care. Then click the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. Do it. These are monitor buttons. Buy them. And then watch our 2 most recent videos. We got some tech news, some RogoCon news. We got a bunch of stuff for you to watch and listen to. So check all that out. We'll be back with some weird news soon.
Bye-bye.
Boom! Boom!
Stavros Halkias, I mean, I just call him Stavi, and I listen to his podcast on occasion. I regret not listening to Come Town, but forgive me, Stavi. I was put off by the name and just chose not to listen at all. I thought it would be gross, but turns out I've become such a big fan of his comedy. I loved his Netflix special, Fat Rascal. I've recommended it to so many people, and I've started listening to his new show, Stavi's World, and he is just like, he's a great comedian. He's the rare cis white male, or he would say he's Greek, but cis male comedian, let's just put it out there. Although no, in one of his bits, he's like, I'm white, but someone said, you're not, whatever. Cis male comics who never punches down. And so like a lot of liberals are learning about him recently because he went on Theo Von, and turns out he's not a right-winger, a rare comedian who isn't one of Joe Rogan's endangered species of comics who just care about like vaccine mandates and you want to put on a dress and call yourself a woman? Wow, we need more of that on our airwaves. Anyway, Stavros went on Theo Von's show and just talked about progressive values in a common sense way. We need more of this for sure.
And watch how he redirects some of the right-wing slash sort of insensitive remarks from Theo Von, which of all these guys, I think Theo Von might mean the best, but I don't think that's a low bar. But I think
the ecosystem doesn't allow anyone who means well to even learn anything.
It's clear that
like the Roganverse is actively a place that means you're just mired in stupidity, and so you don't learn.
And kind of like innuendo and conspiracy theory, or sort of like half-baked ideas. So I think so I think Stav does a good job here of misdirecting some of the potential for bigotry slash misinformation, or whatever you want to call it, that Theo would maybe espouse with a less credulous guest to push back on him.
Right.
What are people truly scared of, do you think, when they talk about Trump? But what is it? I kind of start to wonder, what do people be scared of?
I can tell you right away. I mean, so for me, I didn't love either candidate here. I really didn't understand being enthusiastic about either candidate. I think, I'm not a Trump guy, obviously. I think he is dangerous in the things that I'm scared of the most. And the thing that made me lean towards Kamala was, more than anything, was the Supreme Court, and that it would be, if it's put under like far right control for the next however long. We've already seen, women's right to, over their bodies, the abortion, Roe v. Wade's been overturned, which I think is really dangerous. That's going to really affect women's health care. Already in states that banned it, you see they're getting less just general OBGYN care because it's more dangerous to be a doctor in those states. So we don't think about shit that trickles down. So it's harder to get just general health care, let alone abortion, in Texas now for women. And that's only going to get harder in rural states. And I think, for me, that was the number one issue. That's really scary to me.
Well, especially with the border being open and they're letting rapists in. It's fucking, you know what I'm saying, though? It's like you're just... Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's the best time to reveal that.
If we're going to follow your logic, and you claim they got rapists coming in, maybe we should also keep abortion. But, I think we got plenty of homegrown rapists, too. But,
We've got our own.
Sure. We've got some heirloom Americans for sure.
Jesus.
But I think that's the number one thing that scares me is about that, because it's not only that's the first step, and I think you can really see stuff that we take for granted as progress, gay marriage and other things. There's a really weird cultural. I think this is what happens anytime the party that's backed by the powers that be, big business. The rich people, the richest people in the world want far right politicians, and I think. If they still, absolutely, without question.
I feel like tech is now. I just feel like the party.
Elon Musk is a huge Trump. I think rich people will support whoever's in power, number one, but they want to transfer wealth from the poor to the rich. They've been really good at doing it. The biggest issue, I think, the reason the Democrats lost is because they pretend that there is no problem. I think inflation. I think a big part of inflation is that companies realize they can just charge you more and say it's somebody else's fault. A lot of it's price gouging. That's true. And
everything gets so much more expensive.
And companies are, some of it is just real inflation, but some of it is companies are hiding behind inflation. And Democrats did nothing to stop price gouging. Like, they didn't even say they were going to do it. You can't tell people that things are going good when they're just clearly not. The most important issue for people is that things are fucking more, they have no health care. Wage inequality is out of control. We're not, people's wages have not kept pace with how much bosses are earning.
Yeah, well, what was Bernie Sanders said greatly that he thought if AI starts to happen for companies, right? So companies are making more money.
You don't need you anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you don't get anything and we keep all the fucking profits. And I do think, I think we talked about it the last time where it's like AI as a tool can do creative shit. It's so weird. It feels like it should be making normal people's lives easier. It shouldn't just be for rich people to be able to charge less. Like, there should be some protections for workers, and we should be able to, you should be able to buy a house. All these regular issues that weren't really hit on. It was just, well, you got to vote for us because the other person's worse. And even though I think that is true, that's not a winning message. That's nothing, especially when the other side is offering, they're at least saying shit's bad. Well, yeah, they're saying it's for the wrong reasons. I don't think it's immigrants' fault. It's definitely not. Trans people aren't the people buying up houses and not letting you buy it. You know what I mean? Like, but at least they're saying something's wrong, and they're saying some shit, in my opinion. They're trying to make it culture war stuff. They're trying to divide people who should be on the same side by saying, gay people are bad, trans people are bad, when it's like, the people trying to fuel rich people. That's how it's always been. That's a tale as old as time.
Boom. I didn't even want to interrupt that because that's a conversation where you could easily imagine having that with somebody in your life who voted for Donald Trump, and Stavi approaches it in this incredibly accessible way, even when Theo is making kind of some dumb points, like that point about, I shouldn't be judgmental, but it's just like, how can you say that about tech at this point? I mean, it's outdated. In part, this is the problem with the Democrats embracing the tech industry until, what do you know, eventually they get massive and they have shareholders and they're multi-billion-dollar corporations that can't have reached their ceiling with growth, but investors expect growth eternally. That's why they're investing in your company. And then who do they turn to? Well, you need to rig the system in your favor. Republicans are the better party to do that for you, and that's exactly how this kind of thing goes.
This was a masterclass in how to talk to a dumb guy.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, capital D, capital G, like a professional dumb guy. It was good.
He didn't see the framing on the border. He laughed and then gently moved away from it. He could have said that's a really racist thing to say because it is, but I don't even think he's conscious of it.
And not only that, I also don't. I think you sort of do have to somewhat, even in the moment when you're in this space with this larger following, you don't cede the ground with the point that he was making, which is even with what Theo Von was trying to make. Because he was still sort of trying to make a right-wing point while saying, but I guess they shouldn't make abortion illegal because there might be more people coming over to sexually assault people from Mexico.
Right.
So, and Stav made clear to say by your logic, not saying for sure. He's saying by your logic, you shouldn't then continue to draw the right-wing framework forward by saying, it's just doubly worse and abortion's going to be gone and there's still so many rapists coming over the border.
Yes.
He's saying if anything, you should be implying that abortion care is still important. And then B, he also made the point, which it's in the guise of a joke, which I still think is important. But when you unpack that joke a little bit, he's also saying, you know, part of answering that question of what you should fear about Trump is what we talked about in the first hour with Digby, which is literally this credibly accused chronic sexual predator rising up to the ranks of the commander-in-chief again and willfully intentionally staffing his cabinet with sexual predators.
Right, like Slavi could have said, "How? Oh, you mean like is Pete Hegseth coming over the border?"
Right.
You know, like,
exactly.
that would have been an own, but like
I need to sort of like message broadly in a way where you are appealing / transmitting that to a larger audience. It was better to kind of play with the joke and make the point while knowing that other people also could understand, who are more like me or you, understand and can also transmit the point that, like, if you want to really talk about any sort of crisis that is involving sexual violence and sexual predation, we can look to the halls of power and the pews of our fucking churches before we look at people hopping over the border.
Right, 100%. So that is a prime example of how to educate somebody or slowly radicalize them. It's not going to be from one conversation like that. It's going to be from many, many conversations like that, and it's not easy. But Stavi reaffirming everybody's faith in white male cis straight comics, right? I mean, like, it doesn't have to be this way. You don't have to be like these Roganites and punch down all the time. You can be a really funny person that also talks about the world in a way that is productive. The idea that comedy is just about triggering the libs is a false premise set up by like a podcast ecosystem that wants you to think that that's the only way to artistically speak about the world in that medium. Sour Diesel Stavros is one of the few I've seen who can successfully break through the conservative brains with a gentle hand. Yes. Punch drunk pulpit. The people yearn for more Brad Cam. Milo the Dango Bilo says, did Emma also avoid the TrueAnon podcast and Chapo Trap House because of the silly titles? Cumtown is right in line with these leftist shows that are also funny. To be honest with you, no, I listen on occasion to both TrueAnon and Chapo. I don't listen to a ton of political podcasts outside of doing this show or doing my old job. But I thought it was a sex podcast. I had no idea. Okay.
And to be fair, as someone who is familiar with all of them, Cumtown is much more improvisational, much more focused on like kind of barrier touching / breaking comedy. Chapo, the guys have a similar comedic bent, but they're usually tackling actual policy and history and politics more than the guys on Cumtown.
Well, I mean, but I wish I had listened to it at the time. But yes, I was put off by the title and the letters being white dripping liquid.
I think as a woman, I can also understand potentially.
No women in my life had even heard about Cumtown. Like, this is the kind of thing where I'm just, I wasn't aware, but I wish I did because I love Stavros. So that's my point about it.
Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.
Breaker. He asked me to sleep with him. I don't fancy little boys without jobs. They can be psychotic or delusional. I think he's psychotic.
Hold on! They can be violent. This woman is a textbook piece of an abusive human being. They can be quiet.
I think he's homosexual.
Fiona! They can be a lot of different things, but at their very baseline, a stalker is a person that is obsessed with you that doesn't care about your boundaries. That's more than just toxic to me. That's being mentally and psychologically abusive. I've said this before, but I really want to say this at the top of this video because normally it's in the middle of my videos or towards the end. And I think it's one of the most important details when you're dealing with a stalker. If you are being stalked by somebody, or if someone you know is dealing with a stalker, in my opinion, it's really important to not say my stalker or Mary's stalker. Because what it ends up doing is it creates a role for this person, and it also implies a relationship. A stalker will do anything to stay in your life, whether they're a good person in your life or a bad person. They are obsessed with you and they just want to be a part of your life. So when you say my stalker, even though you see stalker as a really bad word, they don't see it that way. They just hear my. They just hear the person's name that they're obsessed with and their connection to it. So in my opinion, it's generally better to say the stalker or the person stalking Mary rather than my stalker. Recently, there was a Netflix series called Baby Reindeer where this guy documents his experience dealing with a stalker. Let's take a look at Fiona Harvey, the accused stalker, and see, is she really an obsessive boundary breaker that takes no accountability and thinks that nothing is her fault?
First of all, why have you decided to go public?
The internet sleuths tracked him down and hounded me and gave me death threats, so it wasn't really a choice. I was forced into this situation.
What do you hope to achieve in this interview?
I came on your show because you're a veteran broadcaster. I think you'll give me a fair hearing. You were persecuted yourself not so long ago. So that's why I've chosen this show.
If you were falsely accused of stalking someone to an extreme degree, would you go on national television to redeem yourself? It feels a little attention-seeking to me, and an opportunity to paint themselves as the victim.
Have you watched the drama?
I haven't watched any of it.
You're not curious?
No, I think it's sick. It's taken over enough of my life. I find it quite obscene. I find it horrifying, misogynistic. Some of the death threats have been really terrible online. People phoning me up. You know, it's been absolutely horrendous. I wouldn't give credence to something like that, and it's not really my kind of drama.
When did you know that you were the person being depicted in this? 5
years ago on BBC Breaking News, I saw Mr. Gad had written a play for the Edinburgh Festival, and he was holding up placards, MP's wife stalker, and all of this, and he called it Baby Reindeer. That's all I knew. And I thought, well, I've only met this guy 2 or 3 times. I don't know him.
Oh, do you guys think that's true? I don't know. Somebody in chat said stalker vibes. I don't know how to explain it yet, and I'm sure we'll get more soon, but I am getting stalker vibes. Like, I don't believe anything she's saying.
And when did you know that Netflix were doing something?
2 weeks ago. I had just moved flats, so it was 2 weeks ago past Saturday.
And how did you do?
I saw on BBC Breaking News that he sold to Netflix, and both he and this character, Martha, this Jessica actress, seem to be promoting mercilessly.
The verbiage mercilessly is very interesting to me because it's as though the marketing of this was a direct attack on her. I don't know if that makes sense. It's an interesting word to use.
Did you think then it was you that they were depicting?
I thought it was me they were depicting 5 years ago because of this MP's wife stalker article that had been a number done on me by the Sunday Mail 25 years ago when I was going for Donald Joe's parliamentary seat. So I had a big idea then.
Are you online at all? Because you were before, but are you these days online?
I've come off Facebook as of yesterday.
Are you on X, what used to be Twitter?
No.
You had an account?
Yeah, that's right. Years ago.
He literally just caught her lying right there. She was trying to, so people found her Facebook account and they also found her Twitter account, and she doesn't acknowledge it at all. She's like, I just got off of Facebook yesterday, and tries not to bring up Twitter, even though it was 100% her. And the way that the users found her Twitter account was they were looking for people that tweeted Richard Gad in the early 2010s, the guy that was being stalked. And they found quite a few tweets from her to his account back at that time, and they were worded very strangely, just like Martha's character in Baby Reindeer. That's how they knew it was her.
That moment you realised it was you that they were depicting from what you were reading. The sleuths, as you say, had found your tweets. They compared some of the phraseology.
Wait, I'm sorry. What the is that?
It was you that they were depicting from what you were reading. The sleuths, as you say, had found your tweets. They compared some of the phraseology. They'd done the maths and they worked out this was you that was being depicted. How did that make you feel?
Absolutely horrendous. I couldn't believe he'd done that. And so long after first meeting, you know, we're talking 10, 12 years ago. Really horrendous. I didn't know who to trust. I was told
okay, here's something interesting. She is just so blatantly painting herself as the victim here. I don't even need to break that down for you. You can hear it all throughout. But what's interesting is people like this that are perpetual victims when they were the aggressor the entire time, the way that they act behind closed doors is impossible to deal with, impossible to ration with. Everything's your fault. Everything is you. You've done everything wrong. Da, 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 da. And what's interesting is she's acting like that, but trying to keep it really controlled. And she's on a massive platform right now. Her underbelly is showing, and she just still can't help but act like she's the victim and need to be in control of everything. And she just comes right, she comes off as downright off.
I want to play a little clip. This is just some of the reaction to Baby Reindeer from members of the public.
And they found the real woman online. So I assume in the actual thing, they've obviously given her a different name. He's a different woman. But you know what I find? They always manage to find a similar looking woman, and the build tends to be the same.
I have a theory about this, though. I feel like he's done it on purpose because he knew that people would find her and he wanted to make her like hell a bit.
I'm shocked that they played and that was the note they chose to end on, because I don't think that the creator of Baby Reindeer did this to attack Martha or Fiona in this case. I think he did it because he was traumatized, and sometimes people express their trauma and they express it through art in some capacity, right? So, you know, him making a play or him making a movie, that is his art, and he's expressing his trauma through art. I don't think he did it to terrorize her. And also, people like this, they don't want the person that they're stalking, or in this case, being toxic to or abusing, they don't want them to have any power. So the fact that he reclaimed his power in such a big way by putting her on blast, oh, it's gonna make her pissed.
The final guy on there, I think, is correct. I think he always wanted this to come out, to persecute someone, to take attention away from
a victim count.
And this rape allegation. And I just generally think he's got extreme psychiatric problems.
I mean, there's no doubt he has problems. I mean, if you watch the...
Oh my God. The way that she leans in when she says, I think he has extreme psychiatric problems. That's the thing that these motherfuckers do when they're like, you've got issues. You've got problems. When they can't negotiate and victim themselves out of it anymore, now it's you. And look at the snarl and the body posture she puts on when she leans in on it. It's almost like she thinks she's talking directly to Richard.
I think he's got extreme psychiatric problems.
I mean, there's no doubt he has problems. I mean, if you watch the...
That's what the whole show is about, him having problems.
Himself.